What does it take to really make it in musical theatre? Is it talent, luck, or just pure determination? And how do you handle the pressure, the competition, and the constant audition cycle? Hey everyone, welcome back to ChatterBeans. I'm Isaac Kong, and today I'm sitting down with someone who knows all about the highs and lows of life on stage. Asher Forth is an actor currently performing in the legendary musical Starlight Express, but his journey to get there wasn't exactly a straight line. In this episode, Asher opens up about everything, from growing up in a small village in Teesside to navigating drama school, coming out, and pushing through the self-doubt that so many performers face. We talk about the thrill of stepping onto the stage, the reality of auditioning, and the sacrifices that come with chasing a career in the arts. And of course, we get into the fun stuff too, his go-to coffee order, his celebrity idol, and the moments that have shaped him both on and off the stage. So, whether you're a theatre lover, an aspiring performer, or just someone who loves a great story about perseverance and passion, this one's for you. All right, let's get into it. Here's my conversation with Asher Forth. Asher, welcome to ChatterBeans.
Hello, Isaac.
How are you?
I'm fabulous, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Are you feeling all right?
I'm feeling great.
Oh, it's
I'm
so nice
excited.
to have you here.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Asher, so imagine we're in a coffee shop. I can't wait for this answer. What's your go-to coffee order?
I'm so basic. I just get a caramel latte, and it's always from Starbucks. I'm never
You like Starbucks?
anywhere else. Unless it's like some independent coffee shop somewhere.
Okay.
And I'm in a new place, I might try.
Yeah.
But it's always a Starbucks. I always get a venti. I always get 4 shots of espresso.
4 shots?
Yeah. Look. I go through a lot in the day, all right?
Yeah, clearly.
So I need that extra boost.
4 shots.
4 shots of espresso, 5 shots of caramel, semi-skim milk, maybe oat milk if I'm feeling like it.
Yeah.
But that's it. I'm a
Amazing.
bit basic, but it does the job.
No, why not? Why
Yeah.
not? And when you're away, so when you go travelling, you've recently been away, do you always look for a Starbucks as well? Do you?
The first thing when we
Why not?
when we got off the plane in Paris, we said, "Where is Starbucks?"
Did
And
you?
We were looking everywhere, and then we found one, and we were like, "Oh, we need to just get to the hotel now because we've been traveling for so long." The first thing we did when we left the hotel is go to Starbucks.
Perfect.
But
Why not?
It wasn't the same.
Was it
And I
not?
thought, why are we doing this to ourselves? We like it in London. Let's just do something
Just
different
keep it
in
there.
Paris.
Yeah.
We still went every day.
Fine. Amazing. So caramel latte.
Caramel latte, yeah.
Amazing. Perfect. So Asher, tell us about you. What does life look like for you? What do you do? Where are you at the moment?
So I'm an actor. I'm in Starlight Express with your husband. And
Yes.
I'm currently playing Green Arrow in that. So it's my first job as an actor. I've been at drama school for the past 3 years. And yeah, this is the first thing I've been able to do. I've wanted to be an actor for a long time.
Have you?
Yeah, it was just kind of the only place that I felt like I was good in school. I was good academically. I always did well in exams, and I didn't need to study. I was just one of those people that did well
Yeah.
without doing any work. 'Cause
Right.
I hated the work. God, you couldn't pay me to do a science lesson again.
Really?
Yeah, I hated it. But drama was always the place where I felt the most comfortable. Music department was always where I felt like I really came into my own.
Yeah.
And I told my mum, I was like, at 16, I want to go to college and do musical theatre full time. And she was like, are you mad? Like, why would you do that to yourself? You need to get your
Yeah.
A-levels. And I was like, there's nothing that I want to do at A-level.
Okay.
And I tried to make a compromise, and I was like, I'll do drama, music,
Yeah.
and then as a bit of an academic one, I'll do politics because I love a bit of politics.
Nice.
They wouldn't let me do that because you can't do 2 creative subjects. So I was like, right, sod this.
Yeah.
I'm going to do musical theatre.
So you went from year 11?
Year
to
11
musical theatre?
to musical theatre.
Did
yeah,
you?
To do it was just a college in the area where I was from.
Yeah.
But at the time, it was the best place to do it.
Was it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
in the area. And there was all these grads who were going off to Arts Head and Erdang, and I was like, oh wow, that's what I want to do.
Yeah. So did you have that passion from sort of that age, or was it many years before that, growing up and stuff like that?
I'd always been a performer. I'd done dancing.
Yeah.
I was a street dancer for a long time.
Really?
Just out of enjoyment, not for competitions or
Yeah.
anything. It was literally just because I enjoyed doing it.
That's so cool.
And so did street dance for a long time. Then I got to secondary school and I couldn't do it anymore. Like, it was way too uncool to be a dancer
Really?
as a boy.
Yeah.
And as a boy hiding his sexuality, that was not something you wanted to be doing.
Okay.
So I packed in dancing for a bit, came out, and I was like, right, why am I not dancing still?
I'm out, here I am.
Yeah, I might as well. So and then from there I just got back into it. I've I've lost where my train of thought was going here. But yeah, went to dancing, went to college. Yeah.
And then drama school, and then straight from drama school, and we're going to talk about that in a little while. And then you came into Starlight Express.
Yes.
So first job straight away. Am I right in thinking you hadn't even graduated?
Yeah, I got the job in February, and I got the job on the day of the final show at my drama school. So it was the first show of the final show that I was doing.
Yes.
And because we do 2 shows,
Right.
this was the second show. I found out on the day that I was meant to perform for the first time I got the job.
Wow.
So after that week of shows, I was leaving to do my first job. It was just a whirlwind
I
because like
bet,
that
yeah.
week just flies by
Yeah.
and there's like agents coming to watch you and you're like, oh God, I need to do a good job. And for me, I was like, I'm sorted. I'm just gonna have a good time this week and I'm jetting off to skate school.
Amazing. You must have felt so good, right?
Oh, it was brilliant.
Yeah.
It was really scary. It was like, oh, what if I break my leg? And like, I didn't want to do it at first because I thought
Yeah.
that's a terrifying first job to do.
I mean, yeah.
But I'm really glad I said yes to it, and it's been amazing.
Yeah.
I've loved it.
And you've got to cover some quite cool roles. So you've got to cover.
I do. I cover lecture and I cover Rusty.
Mm.
So I'm the first cover lecture. So anytime the lead person Tom is off, I will go on.
Yeah.
So I've done that quite a few
Yeah.
times, and I love it every time.
How was that first moment, like doing a lecturer for the first time?
Well,
Because all eyes are on you, right? There's
yeah.
a big track.
If you've seen the show, you know that a lecturer's entrance is quite the spectacle.
Yes.
And there's so much build up to it. It's like 25 minutes into the show.
Yeah.
And that's when it happens. And there's all this build up of like a lecturer's about to come out. And then you just like skate center stage and you have to sing in front of 1,000 people.
Yeah, you're not only singing, but the lights are going crazy. You've got all sorts of stuff coming out of you.
Yeah.
And then you rise up.
Yeah.
Like,
oh, it's absolutely mental. And the first time I did it, it was honest. I felt like my vision was blurred. Like
Really?
I couldn't see anyone's faces. I was
were you nervous?
just, oh my God, I was terrified. And when I get nervous, my legs shake. And I could feel my legs shaking underneath me. I was like, I can't do this on wheels.
Yeah.
I need to get that
Yeah.
leg sorted out.
Yeah.
But it was just mental. Like it was the most amazing feeling afterwards, though.
Was
Like,
it?
just getting through it, because the first time is like you just need to be in the right place at the right time, sing the right notes. You
Yeah.
can't really enjoy it that much.
Exactly, yeah.
But when you've done it the first time and you do it again and you're like, oh, this is amazing. I love it.
And is the feeling different from when you performed at drama school to now? Because obviously you've got 1,000 people in there paying every day. Like, it must be a different feeling, right?
It is different. And one of the reasons I got into performing was that feeling that you get at the end of a show.
Really?
You can't really describe it. It's this euphoric feeling that you get. And I felt it for the first time when I was 13 or 14 in High School Musical. I was in the
Love
ensemble
it.
in
Really?
Middlesbrough. And I remember the audience like just applauding at the end. It's obviously all our friends and family.
Yeah.
And I burst into tears. It's just a feeling that is so overwhelming.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't really believe what I was feeling. And I was like, if that is how it feels, I want to
You want
keep
it.
doing this.
Yeah.
Like, this is where I'm meant to be. So from then on, I just kept doing it. And
Kept
that,
focusing on that.
yeah.
Mm.
And I find now that, like, that feeling fades, unfortunately. Like,
Does it?
because when it happens every day, you're like, you can't get that same feeling again. So it's finding other things within the performance that like give you that same amount of joy in this. And like in this show especially, you can really connect with the audience.
Yes.
And that makes it different every time you do it.
Does it?
Because everyone in the audience is different. So you can always have a bit of a different show.
Yeah, it's proper immersive theatre, isn't it? Like the
Yeah,
audience are almost in the stage, and I guess the fan group and the
oh,
loyal fans for Starlight. Like,
there's quite the fan group that I
yeah, so that
never
must help.
expected would happen. But
Mm,
like, it's that's something they don't train you for in drama school. Is like,
you're a star.
there's gonna be people who really like you, and you're just going to do your job, and then there's actually things that come along with that,
Yeah.
and you just kind of have to navigate it yourself.
How are you coping with that? Because you have, almost been thrown into an adult life straight out of uni life.
Yeah,
You haven't had much chance to adapt, any chance, right? So you've gone from that straight into bang.
it has been it's been wild, and it has been non-stop. But at the end of the day, like, that is what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't train to have a break at the end and
Yeah.
wait for my big break or whatever.
Yeah.
I trained to go and do the job.
Mm,
And so I'm just really grateful that I managed to get there
yeah.
when I did.
Amazing.
And it's been the adjustment was, I think, because it just never stopped.
Yeah.
Like,
It's just rolled on,
it's
right?
just kept
Just got
going.
bigger, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, it's hard to let it sink in, but like,
Yeah.
that it is just life now. It's
Good.
great.
Good. So, been in the show a year. We're about to see a big cast change, and you're going to take on the role of Electra
I am indeed
full time.
full
How are you
time.
feeling about that?
Oh, I'm really excited. I think it's I loved covering it, and I loved being able to do 3 different tracks like for the past year, and
Yeah.
not knowing when you're going to be thrown on or whatever. Like, it's
Yeah.
quite exciting.
Yeah.
But I'm quite excited for the security of just like one role, and it to be
Yeah.
quite a big role.
And you're not going to
for
cover
sure.
anything else, are you? Because that's your role.
No,
So
no,
you're just
this is
main.
it.
Yeah.
Which will be very different.
Mm.
But I'm really excited for it. I
Yeah.
think it's a great opportunity for me career wise. Like, I'm really excited to see
Yeah.
what comes out of this afterwards. But like, I think now that I've done the role a few times, I feel really comfortable in it, and it's
Mm.
nice to know that I'm going into it full time, being so comfortable with it. It's not gonna like scare me or anything.
Yeah.
Like,
And I feel like now you can make it even more your own.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
like,
that'll be nice.
I guess you equate it to like a job when someone covers a maternity leave or something. Like, you're kind of just babysitting the role in a way. Like, you've still got your flair on
For
it,
sure.
right? But you know that it's not quite yours, but now it will be. So
Yeah.
it's almost like a little promotion at work.
It is. It's a
Yeah.
little promotion, and I'm very happy about it.
Yeah.
And like you say, it does feel like babysitting.
Yeah.
And that's great. I love to be able to do that and
Yeah.
take the reins when someone's not able to do it. But it'll be nice to be able to say
Yeah.
like, oh, I play Electra in Starlight Express.
Exactly.
That's gonna be great.
Yeah. And people know that role. If they know Starlight Express, they know Electra. So
Yeah,
it's like,
it's an iconic role, and it's been
yeah.
like 40 years it's been going for. It's got
Yeah.
quite the weight behind it,
Yeah, definitely.
which is just great.
Amazing. So roll back a bit to like super younger years. Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Teesside,
Oh,
in
really?
a little village in the middle of nowhere.
Really?
Yeah, I did. And so I went. My primary school was also in like the next village along, and it was just like everyone was from the countryside, and it
Really?
was very isolated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what so like creative, like how did you have like what was your personality like? Like how did you express yourself?
Oh, that's really a good
Because
question.
you talked about that moment of like coming out and then like, oh, now I'm into drama. Like,
Yeah, I mean, I'd always like. I think it was just like there were extra clubs on in places, and I
yeah.
just tried them all out, and it was
Yeah.
just dancing that stuck with me
Okay.
all the time.
Really?
Yeah, I just loved. Again, it was like that feeling of dancing
Yeah.
and performing in front of an audience. I just always loved it.
Yeah.
And it was that the place I went. Shout out to Urban Chaos is where I was dancing for a few years. It was more centered around kids. So as I
Okay.
started to grow up, I was like, oh, I really want to continue this
Yeah.
with this vibe.
What now?
But what now? And a lot of the places were really serious dance schools. And I was like, oh, I don't think I want to do that because that's serious. And I don't want to take it seriously. I want to have fun.
Yeah, exactly.
But so yeah, that my time there came to an end just because I'd got too old and I was trying to be straight at school. It's like year 7 is not nice for a little gay boy who
I
doesn't want to be
know.
gay.
You kind of remind me of like everybody's talking about Jamie.
Funny you should say that.
I love it. And like family wise, did they know you were gay? Or did you keep it quite? Did you know you were?
I think I always knew. I always had like crushes on guys and
Did you?
stuff. Yeah. Um, and I never it was very obvious to people that I was because I surrounded myself with girls and
Right.
like I wasn't open about I like guys, but
Yeah.
like it was pretty obvious. And I came out as bisexual to one of my best friends because I was like, can't admit to being fully gay because that's
It's
crazy.
exactly the same. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
but then eventually it all just came out.
Mm.
Like, not to get too deep into it, but there was my time at school wasn't great, and
Really?
there was people who weren't particularly kind,
Mm.
and would try and call me out for being gay or whatever, and try and get that little thing that they wanted me to say. So then I just said it. I was like, "Yeah, I am, and I fancy Justin Bieber." Like I don't know where we go from here now.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
And what?
so it was just kind of like a fu to everyone, like, because they all wanted me to say it, and I was like, here it is.
Yeah.
Now what?
Exactly.
And now I've got to be here for another 4 years, and
Yeah.
are we gonna get along? Probably not. But yeah, it was a
School life, right?
complicated time, and I
Yeah.
think it is for all gay people. Like,
Yeah.
it's just
It must be becoming easier now, I think. But
I hope so,
yeah.
because
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't that long ago, like that I
No,
was there, and
exactly.
it was not nice. Like,
Which is quite surprising because things are changing. But
yeah,
I guess not enough. Or not
no,
quickly enough.
and I think because I came out like in year 8, I think,
Mm.
which is really like considerably early for
Yeah.
a lot of people.
Yeah.
And I think the reaction that I had stopped a lot of the other boys coming out in my school, like
Really?
during school, because like I'd seen there were boys in
Yeah.
there that were gay, and they didn't want to be open about it.
Yeah.
I can't be certain, but I do think
No,
that
exactly.
my experience probably had a role to play in them not wanting to.
That's
to
such
do
a
that.
shame.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
sad. It's really sad, but like, I hope they're all happy now. I don't speak
Yeah.
to them, but I hope they're out
it-
and proud.
Yeah, but it didn't hold you back, did it? Like you
No,
went and
no,
chased your dreams, like you did what you wanted to do.
exactly. And I think it kind of gave me a bit of
Yeah.
a push to do that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
I
yeah,
want to
totally.
be able to prove these people wrong that
Mm.
like it wasn't a bad thing to be gay, and I can actually use it to my advantage. Like,
Yeah.
it won't worked out in the end.
Yeah. How was it with your family? So you live with your mum, right? You grew up with
Yeah,
your
me
mum.
and my mum and my sister.
Mm.
They're all very like academic. Like
Really?
they, my mum's like working on a PhD,
Is
and
she?
my sister does psychology. I was not. I didn't do all that. I couldn't. It's too much.
Totally.
So that's why they were so confused of like why I would go and do a BTEC in musical theatre, because everyone does A levels. So I think it was quite hard for them to. Not that they weren't supportive. It was just that they didn't know of anyone that did that.
Yeah.
So it seemed quite out of the ordinary.
Okay.
But I was like, trust me, I know this is right. Like,
Yeah.
it's what I want to do, and I will do it.
Yeah.
So,
But your mum is super proud now, right?
Oh
And
my
super
God, yeah.
supportive. I met your
Yeah,
mum,
yeah,
I
yeah.
think, at press night.
Oh my God, yeah, you did.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, she loves it, and she loves
Yeah.
coming to them
Of
little
course
press
she
events.
does.
Like,
Yeah,
free
it's so
drink.
glamorous. Love that. I
Yeah,
love that.
She loves it.
Yeah. So what are some of the biggest learnings, I guess, of like being thrown into a big show and like, you're trying to navigate life and stuff like that? You haven't got the security of uni anymore.
No.
Like you're a working boy.
Yeah, I think one thing I've really learned is in this industry in particular, there's this mindset of like, oh, if you're in a job, you have to be like grateful for it. Like, you have to be like, oh my God, I can't, and you can't complain about things or be, do you know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
because you should be grateful that you're in a job. And there's lots of people who would kill to be in your position.
Yeah.
So whenever you express that you're exhausted or like you feel a bit guilty because you're like, oh no, I'm actually really lucky to be here.
Yeah.
But I'm starting to shift that mindset.
Mm.
I'm not lucky to be here. I worked to be here, and I'm here now.
You worked hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying other people didn't work hard. It's just
Exactly.
I fell into the right place at the right time, and I worked hard for it.
Yeah. Yeah, you worked hard to be there.
Yeah, I did.
You auditioned, you went through the process.
Exactly.
What was that process like for you? They come in to school?
They came into my drama school to do a workshop of Starlight Express. Not on skates. It was just like singing.
Oh, really?
Singing bits. And they like cast me as Rusty. And I was like, oh
How
my
interesting. I
gosh,
didn't know that.
wow. Yeah. I mean, there was only like four boys in there, but like,
Yeah.
I
That's quite a nice
felt
feeling.
really cool
Yeah.
to be there. And like on the first day, Andrew Lloyd Webber shows up, and you're like,
So just
"What's
talk about the
going
workshop
on?"
process, because some people might not be familiar with what it is. So
Oh, I mean, we had no idea either.
Really?
Like, we were completely blind going into it. We
Yeah.
just knew they wanted to workshop Starlight Express. You're
to
in
see if
for
it
a-
works right,
Yeah,
to see
just
if kind
like
of it's going to
the-
work again, or
Yeah, to see what just for the vocal score, really.
right.
Just
I
to
see.
see what works in that, what doesn't, and we're just voices to kind of test it out.
Yeah.
And we had no idea what was going to happen. We thought maybe like it'll just be the music director and maybe the director that comes in. It was the whole team, like everyone. So
Wow.
like
It's intense.
we did a final showcase on the day, at the end of the week. Andrew Lloyd Webber, Arlene Phillips, Richard Stilgoe, Michael Harris, everyone is there. And we were like, what's going on? This is terrifying.
And at this point, did you know it was coming back, or you just thought it's just a workshop?
It had been announced
Had it?
already
Okay,
that
right.
it was coming back. I didn't even know what the show was. I had no idea what Starlight Express was. I
I've heard of
remember
it, but I'd never.
They asked us on the first day, what's it about? All of us sat there like, I have no idea.
Oh no.
But we got through it.
Yeah.
And it was a great week. Like, you very rarely get to be involved in situations like that where you're kind of part of the creative process.
Yeah.
And you're chopping and changing things as it goes along. And just to see
That's
how
pretty
far
cool.
the musical has come since that was really
Yeah.
fun.
It's changed a lot, even from like skate school days, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, I remember coming into skate school and like we started learning some of the music, and it had changed so much from
Yeah.
then. And then even then it was still changing.
Yeah.
Like, so it's been really cool to be part of something that's not set in stone. A lot of shows that you go into are completely set in stone and you just fill
Yes.
the right box.
Yeah.
But this was like, we're creating it for the first time.
I always think that's such a good opportunity. Like, you know, Oscars was in Miss Saigon and then in Starlight. So
Yeah.
to be part of something that's new and create that is special.
Yeah,
right?
you get
Like,
to put your own stamp on it.
Yeah.
And
you can go into any show like Les Mis or
Yeah.
wherever, and it's kind of there. It's been long running. It's not going to change.
Yeah.
It is what it is, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, you're quite lucky in that sense.
Oh, it was to be a part of an original cast and on an
Yeah.
original cast recording.
I
That's
know.
mad.
How does
Like,
that feel?
I mean, you can't hear me. But
We
it
believe
was-
you're there.
Yeah, my name's on it.
Is
so
it?
my voice is definitely in there somewhere. But just to be a part of that was
Yeah.
just mental. Like, I listened to so many cast recordings growing up of all these different musicals, and now I'm actually
And
a
you're
part
on
of
one.
that people are listening to.
And that will be there, right?
That'll
So
always
when the
be
cast
there.
changes, you're still going to be that original.
Yeah.
That original one.
Yeah.
I was, so not many people know, but we got invited, didn't we, friends and family, to like your last day at your rehearsal space.
Yeah.
That was so crazy. I remember seeing everyone on roller skates. Just how tall you were as
Yeah.
well. It was like insane. But yeah, even it's just come such a long way since then in the previews and press night. Like
Yeah.
that feels like a lifetime ago.
I know.
Um,
Everything's happened so
Have you
much.
enjoyed the year? Well, not. I suppose it is a year since skate school, right?
Yeah, it's been just
Just
about
over.
over a year.
Yeah. Have you enjoyed
It's
it on the?
been the craziest thing of ups, downs, like everything has happened.
Yeah.
Like, skate school was so fun because you got to learn this new skill, and everyone was completely humbled because no one could do it, which was great.
And you'll
Like,
never forget
there
it now.
was no ego. Like,
Yeah.
you couldn't have an ego because no one could do it. And I remember there was one time I was coming down the ramp to do just to come over the ramp,
Yeah.
and turn around and start, and I fell, and as soon as I stood up, I just burst into tears.
Oh.
You know when something just sends you over the edge?
Yes.
It wasn't even that. It was just like,
Yeah.
I'm so overwhelmed right now. So that felt like, oh my God, I'm at rock bottom.
Yeah.
Then you'd come in the next day and you'd do something really well and you'd be like, this is the best day of my life.
Yeah.
I've been through so
Proper
many
journey.
of those days
Have
of
you?
like complete lows and complete highs
Yeah.
that just make like it's just an absolute roller coaster. And
I love that.
I appreciate every moment of it,
Yeah.
even on when it was really hard to get through.
Yeah.
It's just been
Amazing.
yeah.
So away from Starlight Express, what else has life looked like for you recently? Like, do you get time to enjoy your days off, and like, what do you get up to?
I do. I remember when I was getting into the swing of shows and stuff, and I had my first holiday booked in September, and I was like, I haven't stopped since I started third year in the September previously.
Wow.
That whole year was just non-stop. So I had a week off, and I went, I don't know, Mallorca.
Did you?
Just went to Mallorca by myself for a week.
I remember. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was
And
it good?
was absolutely beautiful. And I was like, I really need. I'm so glad we get holidays because I need that time off. Like
Yeah.
to get through a year is like
Because
it's
that first
mental.
part, you weren't allowed time off, were you?
Yeah,
quite a lot of
'cause
time.
You're just in rehearsals all the time, and like they need you to be there,
Yeah.
so you can't take much time off. Then,
Yeah.
but as soon as we were allowed to take time off, I was like, get me out of the country.
I'm really intrigued. Someone at your age, not to be patronising, but like going away on your own.
Yeah,
Had you done that before?
I'd been away with like a group of friends, so like not with family or anything. So I
Yeah.
felt kind of independent then, and I was
Right.
kind of one of the older friends there, so I felt a bit in
Yeah.
charge. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I knew I could do it. Like I've had to depend on myself a lot. Like growing up, like I've worked jobs since I was 13. Like I've always worked, and I've always been self-sufficient.
Have you?
And it's not because I couldn't ask for help if I needed it, but I always wanted. It was more rewarding to be self-sufficient.
Mm.
Like I didn't want to just ask for handouts or, do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I wanted to work hard and get to where I wanted to be myself.
Nice. What did you do? Some of the jobs. I'm intrigued now.
I was the newspaper boy in the
Yes,
village
me too.
for 5 years.
5 years.
Yeah, since I was 13.
Like an everyday one or a weekly one?
Just the weekends. And it was like £8 a shift. So I earned £8 a week.
How many papers?
But at third, I can't even think now. It was the whole village. So it was a fair few.
Okay.
It took me like just an hour and a half. So
Oh, that's okay.
that's okay.
£8.
Yeah, it was fine.
You were 13.
And I saved up all of that money and I bought an iPad.
Did you?
Yeah, I just didn't take any money out and I bought an iPad myself. It took me a long time.
That's
but,
really impressive.
Like that's what I wanted to be self-sufficient
That's
and
so
get my
impressive.
own things.
Yeah.
So newspaper boy. I was a pot washer for a bit. Then what did I do after that? I was a pizza delivery guy as soon as I got my driving license.
For a chain?
Oh no, just like
local.
just the local pizza shop in Stockton.
Stockton.
Yeah, it was
Love it.
rough. It was a
Really?
really rough area, and I was sat outside like just waiting in the car for the pizzas, and I was just terrified.
Did your
every
car
single
smell of
time.
pizza?
Oh yeah, it was awful.
I couldn't do that
It
job.
wasn't even. It was my mum's car.
Oh,
And I felt terrible, but like it was bringing in the money.
good mom. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
She wasn't using the car. I might as well make some money off it. Pizza delivery. I was a waiter. Then when I got to drama school, I was another waiter at GBK, and then I was a singing teacher. Oh,
You've done lots of
I've
things.
done lots of
Yeah.
things. Done lots of things.
Where does that drive come from to be self-sufficient?
I don't know. You know, I think So the place I went to school, it wasn't a private school, but it was like a good school. Do you know what I mean? It was one
Yeah.
of the ones that people wanted to go to, and I just happened to be in the right catchment area. It wasn't like
Oh, right. Yeah.
it was
fine.
just we were just lucky.
Yeah.
So I grew up around a lot of like quite rich, not rich, like just people who were well off,
Well off. Yeah.
and I wasn't. So being surrounded by that, I never had what other people had, and the only way I was going to get that is if I worked for it. So I just wanted to have that like financial stability
Yeah.
and be able to get things for myself that I wanted because I'm not going to ask my mum for like money for an iPad, like, because I know that's going to like
Set her back.
affect her. Like, so I'll just get it myself. So yeah, I think
We
it's
have
just
a very similar upbringing.
really.
Yeah. Yeah,
Love
my dad
that.
brought 3 of us up on his own.
Oh wow.
So I have the same mentality as you.
Yeah.
That's why I asked and probed.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, how interesting.
Yeah, I just
Creates a different type of drive, I think.
yeah, because when you have things handed to you, I feel like you don't want things as badly because you can just have it whenever you want. Whereas if
Yeah.
it's something that you need to work hard for,
Mm,
like
yeah.
that's
So your mum
awesome.
must be super proud now.
Oh yeah, she's buzzing.
So you're at drama college. You're thinking about, right, what's next? What's next? You said you had arts ed in your head for a while.
Yeah.
What was that process like?
So it was. I always wanted to go to arts ed because there were people from my area who went to arts ed, and I always thought they were the best, and they were
Really?
getting in the West End, and I
Yeah.
was like, oh, that's where I want to be.
Yeah.
But I still auditioned for like different colleges and stuff. So I got through 2 recalls at arts ed, and then they put me on the reserve list, and I was like, what does that even mean? Like,
Yeah. Until when?
when is that going to change around?
Yeah.
So I remember I kept calling them up, and I was like, what's happening with this? Like, and they're like, oh yeah, you're just waiting to see if like something comes up or something, and they were just really vague about it.
Really?
I needed to be there. Like, I
Yeah.
wasn't going to wait around for it.
Did you have a backup plan?
I had a few plans, and none of them I wanted to do particularly.
Yeah.
There was other options. That was like a gap year course somewhere else that I was going to do, and then try again for arts ed the next year, or go to another drama school for a year and audition. I just didn't want to do that. I just wanted to go to arts ed.
Yeah.
So eventually, after a few times calling them up and being like, what's happening, they were like, oh, okay, one of your scores wasn't so good in the audition. Here's another chance to redo it.
Wow.
So I absolutely made sure that my singing was top
Was it the
notch.
singing?
It was the singing. I couldn't sing. But singing on Zoom was
Because you were a
so
dancer. You did it on Zoom.
I did all my auditions on Zoom. Yeah. I know. So, like, trying to sing scales while they're, like, playing it in a piano that's trying to go through a computer microphone.
Yeah, with, like, echo and...
Oh, it was horrid. And I remember thinking that went awful.
Why was it on Zoom? Because of COVID?
Yeah, COVID. It was 2021.
Right,
auditioning,
okay.
So it was... Things were open, but they weren't willing
mad.
to get people in from all over the country. So yeah, I auditioned again on Zoom. I had an hour-long session with my singing teacher, who I then had for 3 years.
Nice.
It was with him, and then I got in off that. And then after all that, they sent me another email, and they were like, "We want to give you the chance to audition for the Andrew Lloyd Webber Foundation scholarship." And they were like, "This is awarded to the highest achievers who are coming this year." And I was like, hang on, you just put me on the reserve list. You said,
Yeah, what's going on
you
here?
can have a place if that person says no. And then they said, you were the top achiever in the whole year. I didn't get the scholarship, but I got the
That's
chance
crazy.
to audition for it.
So that must have been a really stressful time.
Oh my God, it was so... And this was happening so late as well in the year. Because it was like, we were just waiting around.
Yeah.
So
the moment you found out, how did you find out?
I was in rehearsals for Legally Blonde at college, where I was playing Emmett.
Love it.
And I saw the email come through on my phone, so I like ran away from the rehearsal room and like checked it. And then I saw it and I just burst into tears. And then someone came and found me on the floor, like cried my eyes out. And I was like, I got in. And then like I went back and I told my teacher and she screamed. And then it was like a scene from like Glee. Like, everyone found out and they all just gave me this like big group hug.
That's incredible.
It was the cutest moment ever.
Yeah.
And like, because it's just something that people aspire to, and at home, like, it's a big deal to go to arts ed. I mean, it's a big deal anywhere, because it's really hard to get into. It was just that sense of achievement, like, what I work to do has paid off, and I'm at the next step now.
Yeah.
And that, it was great.
So it was a tough process to get in there.
It was tough, and it was my mind was everywhere.
And you were up against, I imagine, quite a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, they told us that year was the highest number of auditions that they've had
Really?
because it was on Zoom. So many more people could do it.
Yeah.
So it was tough competition,
Yeah.
but it meant that everyone in my year was unreal,
I bet.
which wasn't great for me because I was like, oh,
Well, I was gonna say, so starting at uni, September, right?
yeah.
September, October. Like, how was those first few weeks, days, weeks?
The first day they ask you to sing your legit song, so your pre-1965 song, in front of a group of you in the year.
Pre-1965.
Yeah, so like the old classic songs like from Guys and Dolls and stuff like that.
In front of the whole year.
We were split into like I think 3 different groups. So a third of the year we had to sing, or maybe it was 2, maybe it was half. But
And
you
how
had
many
to
people were we
sing
talking?
in front of like 25, 30. And
That's
I always
intense in your first.
I find that those smaller groups are always the most terrifying to do it in front of. And when you can see everyone in front of you and you just have to sing.
Because you're like thinking, are they judging me? Like,
And then loads of people went before me and they were like these singers that I'd never heard sound so good. Like they were amazing. I wasn't there. I at that time I was not at that level,
no.
and I was terrified. I was like, "There's no way I'm here with these people."
Because that's the first moment, isn't it? Really, apart, you're at college, and I guess you've got some level of skill to be at college, and you learn over that time. But that's probably the first time in real life that you've heard such voices, because they are the best of the best to get there.
Exactly. And there's always a thing of big fish, small pond.
Yes.
Is that the right way around? Big pond, small.
Big fish, small.
That's
Yes!
right. That is right. It sounds wrong when I said it.
It is right. Big fish, small pond.
Big fish, small pond.
Yeah. Whereas before you were a small fish in a big pond.
No. Back home, I was a big fish in a small pond.
Yes.
And now I'm a very small fish in a big
pond.
Big pond. We got that.
that.
So that was really hard to come to terms with.
Of course.
That like I could get the lead role at college, and now I'm like the worst singer there.
Yeah.
And that was, I mean, that's probably just my opinion, but like that's how I felt at the time.
Yeah.
That I was nowhere near good enough to be with these people. Mad imposter syndrome.
Imposter syndrome's come up on this podcast, I think, pretty much every episode. How do you deal with that? How did you get through that?
How did I get through that? I don't know.
Going, right?
You just have to. I think
have to do it, right?
You have to go in every day.
Believe
you
in
have
yourself.
to sing your songs in front of people who are way better than you. And you just. I always found that when I was 16, I started at a dance school as well as college. So I was doing both. And this was it was Nadine's dance company, shout out. And she's fantastic. Like she has the most amazing dancers.
Yeah.
And I was nowhere near there. Like
really?
I love street dancing, which is not technical. It's very much a feeling, a groove based kind of. It's all about the enjoyment of it. Whereas when you go to dance school, you're training, and this is a serious skill that you need to learn.
Exactly.
And I was the worst one there. Like, technically, I was the worst one. I didn't have half the technique that anyone had in that dance studio. But I found that I learned so much from being surrounded by the best people.
Yes.
And being that person who could just soak everything up and be inspired by other people. So then I think that's what helped me through Arts Ed, is that I'd been in that position already where I was the worst.
Okay.
And that was really hard in itself.
Yeah.
I can do it again.
And I think that's a skill in itself, which is actually the ability to want to learn and want to learn from other people.
Yeah, for sure.
Because, in some of these types of industries where everyone's almost against each other, right? Like if you're in the same audition room, like it's a bit like dog eat dog, and you kind of, I know what I'm doing, I don't need to learn. So that's great that you've got that mentality.
Yeah, I think the industry as its nature is competition.
Yeah.
So if we can get away from that as much as we can,
exactly,
brilliant. Because we don't need to strengthen that competition anymore.
Yeah.
So then we're just going to get really toxic between each other.
Did you have those same feelings when you went into Starlight Express? Did you worry about who was in the room with you?
Yeah, I was terrified.
Were you?
And I'd seen people who I recognised from other shows, maybe, or people who I knew were really good. and
Yeah. And some had been in the German version.
some have been in the German version. Like, it was really intimidating to go into because
Yeah.
I just got comfortable at Artset. I was
Yeah,
like, oh, I'm not the worst
exactly.
anymore, and I
It's like
feel
that
like
feeling again.
yeah, now I'm in here learning this new
Yeah.
skill that I can't do with all these people who I don't know what they're like. I don't know.
Yeah.
It was terrifying.
Yeah.
But I've learned that like I actually love being in them situations where you get to meet new people and you all get to do
Yeah.
the same thing with each other, like, and you really create like really special bonds in them
Yeah.
situations. So
That's
I
amazing.
love it.
Oh,
Love it.
good. So imagine a world beyond Starlight Express when that comes to an end. What do you want to do in the future? Like, what's your ultimate job?
Ultimate job. Ah. Well, I always said anything that just pays the bills. Like,
Well,
'cause
yeah, I mean, there is that.
if I can do what I love and
Yes,
make a living,
exactly.
that's brilliant for me.
Yeah.
I love that.
Really?
I had never said I wanted to be in Starlight Express because I just didn't even know what it was.
No.
And you said put some roller skates on and do a show. I'd be absolutely not. But here I am.
Exactly.
Doing it. Like,
Do you
so,
always want to be in front of an audience?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I really enjoy it now, and I'm not gonna say like I'm gonna enjoy it forever.
Yeah.
Because there's been times in this contract where I've thought, oh God, I do not want to be in front of an audience right now. But like, it's the
Yeah.
job, you have to.
Exactly.
But like, regardless of them off days, I still love it.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's a forever thing. But I kind of think this is where I'm at right now, and I love what I'm doing right now.
Perfect.
I'm gonna keep doing it, and then
So you're not thinking too far ahead?
no, I just think
like that.
this is I'm meant to be where I'm at right now,
Yeah.
and I think if I'm meant to be somewhere else, the path will lead me there.
Exactly.
Like I'll get there
Good
on
for
its
you.
own accord.
Nice. So like coming out and stuff like that, you obviously went to drama school. How was that in terms of relationships, boyfriends? Because I imagine it's quite a like difficult space.
It was an absolute no-go.
Really?
I just there was no time. You were in 8:30 till 6 o'clock Monday to Friday, and then I'm working on the weekends.
Yes.
When do I like? You have to be able to give your time to someone, and it's
hard.
It's hard to do that when you have no time to give to anyone,
Yeah.
not even your friends or your family. Like, there was no time for relationships.
And that's the difference between standard university and art drama school, right?
Yeah.
We had Rich on the podcast a few episodes ago, and he went to drama school talking about the same thing. It was literally like full-time work, like
all the time, and then you're expected to do work outside of
Yeah.
lessons, and you're like,
yeah.
so my whole life is taken up with.
So you've been super
school.
busy with drama school. So
Yeah.
then you jump into a full-time job, which has not been easy going.
No.
We talked about this with Jeevan a couple of episodes ago. And so how have you made time for yourself, and have you managed to have any romance?
Well, funny you should say that. I mean, at the start of the job, the hours were pretty much the same as drama school, and I thought, God, is this my life forever? I can't keep doing this. But then, as I like,
At least you were getting paid.
I was getting paid. That was brilliant.
Yeah.
And then, as I was getting out of like previews and just settling into the show, like I had time. Like I had time, and I messaged my current boyfriend. We were talking at the time. It was like tech for Starlight.
Yeah.
And at that point, I still had no time, and I messaged him, and I was like, I really like you, but I just don't have any time for you right now.
Can't commit to
I'm
it,
really
yeah.
sorry. And he was like, that's fine. Just message me when you're less busy. And I was like, okay. So we didn't talk for like a month.
That's crazy.
And then the show calmed down, and I was just regular. And I was like, oh, he messaged me
Did he?
when do you remember the poster in Waterloo came out? And I
Yes.
posted a picture in front of it. And he messaged me, and he was like, oh, that's really cool. Like, just not even flirting. It was just like, oh,
Yeah,
that's
just
a really cool thing.
replying to your story or something.
And I was like, oh, yeah, I remember you now. Do you want to meet up?
And so you then found time, made
made time, and it's been brilliant from there. It's all just kind of,
Yeah.
we just did our first holiday abroad together in Paris.
And how was that?
Oh, beautiful.
I think it's really
No.
important, that first trip with a partner, isn't it? Like,
Yeah.
You really learn a different side to them.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the first trip we went on was to Brighton,
Mm.
and that's where he asked me to be his boyfriend.
Oh,
So that
so
was
efficient.
a lovely trip. But then Paris was just like our little
It's extra special,
getaway.
isn't it?
Yeah, and it's Paris, it's the city of love. Like it was
Yeah.
gorgeous. Just seeing all the sights and stuff and spending it with
Yeah.
him was just great.
And you're quite into your architecture and stuff, are you?
Well,
Did I see some stories about this?
I didn't even think I was, and then I stepped in the Louvre and I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing.
You were like posting all these stories, and I was like, oh my God, he's got this completely different side of him.
Oh, I didn't even know. I was just totally. I didn't even care about the art that was in there. It was that building was
Building, yeah.
absolutely fantastic. And cathedrals, I love a cathedral. I don't know what it is. I'm the furthest thing away from a Christian, and I absolutely adore them.
What is it about a cathedral?
I think I've realised this when you step in, and all of your sight is just absolute beauty and elegance.
Mm.
It
There's nothing
just-
like that now, is there?
There's really nothing like it. Like, I just love my whole senses being surrounded
Yeah.
by like this beauty.
Wow.
And even though, like, I don't agree with the Catholic Church,
Yeah.
I just find I forgive them. I'm like, yeah, that's you did some great stuff there. I love it. Love your work.
That's amazing. Okay, so whenever we go away and we find a cathedral, I'm going to send you
Oh,
a
please
picture.
do.
You know.
Please do. I love it. We saw 2 cathedrals.
Really?
Notre Dame and the other one that
Yes.
I can't pronounce.
Notre Dame's just reopened, hasn't it?
Yeah.
How was that?
Oh, I can't get over it. And we walked into a service, so they were
yeah.
singing hymns and stuff.
Makes you feel funny.
Oh, I feel connected to the Lord, and I'm not even Christian.
Not yet.
Not yet. They might convert
Oh,
me
God.
at this rate.
Literally.
But I used to sing in a choir at school, and it was all very like them old like hymns, and they're all in Latin and stuff.
Really?
And we used to sing all that stuff, but I loved it.
Did
Like,
you?
And I don't know what it is. It's just the most beautiful music ever.
When I was 11, I got offered to be in the cathedral choir,
Oh,
and they tour, right? So they go on these tours,
oh wow.
and you wear these big robes.
Yeah.
I think Jeevan did the same. And I declined it because I was too afraid to be bullied for it.
Really?
But imagine what my life could look like now.
I know. That's the
I don't
thing.
think I
though.
could sing anymore.
I'm sure you could.
Mm.
That's the thing at 11, isn't it? It's that age when you're
Yeah.
about to go into secondary school. And
Before
you're
my
like,
voice had broken as well.
oh yeah.
So they would have been able to train me, hopefully, through that. But hey, here I am
Hey,
now.
Here we are
Still using my voice in a
on
different
a
way.
podcast.
So you and the man, the boy, all swimmingly. It's good.
That's brilliant. It's
yeah.
just
Does it feel nice to like? Do you feel like your life has got to a point where I've got my job, I've got my guy?
it kind of does. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel very like I'm 22 and I feel like I'm settled down. I'll be getting a dog next.
I was gonna say.
Like it feels like where I'm going. But it just feels I feel like a relationship should just feel easy and
Yeah.
they should just add to your life and there shouldn't be any drama and
Yeah.
like
Or if there is drama, you can deal with it.
you can work through it and you can communicate about that and that is exactly what it is.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. I never thought I'd like, especially at 22, like I feel like I've got a long way to go.
Yeah.
I've got a great relationship
Good
and
for
a
you.
great job and
And you're just taking it as it comes.
taking it as it comes.
Yeah.
It could all go wrong tomorrow, but right now it's great.
Good.
That's
Good.
all you can ask for, really, isn't it?
Exactly. Thinking about your life then, and obviously you've had your upbringing's been your upbringing, your life, your job since a young age, like drama school, going into your first job quite quickly. What are some of those big life lessons or bits of advice that you would give someone in your or wanting to be in your shoes?
To keep it real,
Mm.
because I keep it real.
Yeah, I
know what
want you
mean?
to keep it real. Yeah.
Money is everything.
Yeah.
And it's a really hard reality to face when you don't have money.
Yeah.
You have to have money to support yourself with anything. If you want to do what you love, you need to have money. So
Yeah.
for me, I wanted to go to drama school and I wanted to train in musical theatre and I wanted to go to Arts Ed, which is a private school. So I needed the money. Well, I managed to get a scholarship to go there,
Yeah.
and they give you a grant as well. But these grants haven't been updated like for years.
Yeah.
So I got the full grant because it depends on your income
Yeah.
at home. I got the full grant, and it was $5,000 for the year for everything,
Wow.
for
Okay.
all your living costs. They don't do uni halls. It's like you have to go rent privately.
That's not enough.
It's way not. It doesn't even pay
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah.
Like it sounds like a lot of money, but you need to pay for
Wow.
everything with that $5,000. So I work 2 jobs to be there
Yeah.
at the same time. And it's really difficult. You've got to find somewhere cheap to live, but also live close enough to Artsed that you can get there at 8:30. But it's in West London, which is
One of the
very
most expensive.
expensive to live. So for me, I had to learn that money was everything, and if I wanted to do this, which is not a secure job, like
No,
it's
exactly.
very like it might all change tomorrow.
Yeah.
You've got to find a way to support yourself financially. So for me, if I was to give myself advice, go
Work
get
hard.
a job.
Work hard.
You
Yeah.
need to be able to and save, because you've just got to, that is the only.
Yeah.
It's so it feels really demoralizing to admit that like money is actually everything, and
Well.
you do need it to be able to do what you want to do.
Yeah.
And that was a really hard lesson that I had to learn.
Thanks for the honesty.
Yeah. I
It's
keep
important.
it real.
Yeah, I
keep
love
it
that.
real.
I love that. What has been the biggest thing you've had to learn in the last year,
Biggest thing I've had to learn in the last year.
other than the obvious, which is skating?
Do you know one of the biggest things I've learned is that with what I'm doing, I can only speak for like what I do.
Yeah, of course.
But being myself is going to get me further than being someone else. And I feel a lot of the time we try to fit a mold of what a casting director might want, or your employer
100%.
might want.
Yes.
Like, but actually, when you are yourself, or when you stand up for yourself, or like people respect that. People respect when you are completely you. That's something I've definitely learned, is that I don't need to fit this mold of something that I think is right.
Particularly, I imagine, in the musical theatre world.
Yeah,
Because
for
there are
real.
so many people chasing the same role, right? You think, well,
exactly.
I'll just change this, or I'll be more like this. But
No, and I think people actually want to see you rather than like that
Yeah.
character.
Good for you.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
And maybe let's see how far that takes me. But
Yeah.
I think that is,
Amazing.
I am me, and that's all I need. I've got to shut it in there.
I'm not going to try and sing. Yeah. If people could see this, that would be ideal. If you could have coffee with anyone, dead or alive, who would it be? Why? Where would you take them? Starbucks?
It'd probably be Starbucks, wouldn't
Who
it?
would it be?
Well, my idol of my life is Beyoncé.
Don't we know it?
I think I'd have to see her. I think I'd have to sit down with her and get
Yeah.
behind that head, because
She is a fascinating person.
absolutely fascinating. And I think a lot of people see Beyoncé and see Single Ladies and Crazy in Love.
Yeah.
Whereas like I know every single thing about her. Like
Do you?
Yeah, I'm the craziest fan.
What is it about her?
It's definitely her work ethic inspires
Oh,
me,
yeah.
because she never stops, and she's always pushing boundaries of what is like the norm.
Yeah.
And like I absolutely admire that, of like someone who is not afraid to break the rules
Yeah.
and still be so successful. Like and I think that's what makes people more successful, is people who are willing to shift things and change things and still being authentically themselves.
Because there was a lot of thought, wasn't there, when she went from her previous albums to her country
Yeah,
era?
yeah,
I loved it.
I loved it. Well, I love anything she did.
But that was her shifting.
That
and,
was her
like,
shifting, and
being maybe more true to herself.
that whole country era of what she's in right now is like she went on the CMAs, the Country Music Awards, and she was absolutely like she received loads of hate for it because she was a black woman who
I
went
know.
on this predominantly white genre, and then she said, "Yeah, I'm going to do a country album," which
Yeah.
has kind of been whitewashed through the years. Like it just I really just respect the
Yeah.
artistry that goes into that.
Yeah.
And if I can be half the artist she is, like, then I've succeeded.
Love that.
So I need to get behind her head over a Starbucks.
You just wanna-
and see where she's at, because I need a bit of that.
Love that. Love that.
Yeah.
It's time for the quick fire round. First thing you do in the morning.
Oh, go on TikTok.
So you're laying in bed, reach for the phone, go on TikTok.
Go on TikTok and then
See all your new followers.
bit of a doom scroll. I do, yeah.
Do you?
That's crazy. I get new followers all the time on TikTok.
That must be hard, right?
It's-
I mean, it must be a great feeling, but at the same time, like,
It's weird because
you're out there.
Yeah, and you also like. It's a fact that like notifications and stuff give you that kind of dopamine rush.
Yes.
When they're constant, and you get like a lot of likes and you get a lot of followers and stuff, it's a weird like.
Does it almost feel the opposite?
Words.
Like when you're not getting as many, do you feel like, oh, I need to put out more content? Or...
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do feel that, and you feel like you're not doing enough, and it's also a thing of like, can you make it in this industry without a following?
I know.
And
And we talked to Jeevan about this. He
Yeah.
came up through TikTok, right?
Yeah, he did, and it seems to be the way now.
Yeah. I remember Oscar going on for Electra, and the amount of followers and likes that day and
Yeah.
the days afterwards were insane.
It is,
And he was almost the same. Like, oh my God, look how many likes he's got. You know,
yeah,
more on that Electra post than we got on our wedding post, for example. Which,
really,
yeah.
wow.
Okay. Be honest, coffee or tea?
Coffee, except from when I'm coffee every day. Coffee,
Yeah.
I always have a coffee every day.
How many?
Just the one.
Okay.
I've calmed down.
With
I
4
used to-
shots.
with 4 shots. If I had any more, I think. Do you know what I ordered once? I always order on the app, so I
Okay.
can just get there and
Yeah.
pick it up. I ordered 2 by accident, and they both had 4 shots in.
Did you drink them both?
And I drank both of them, and I
Whoa,
thought,
you must have been
it'll be
buzzing.
fine. I've got 2 shows to do. Oh my God, it was awful.
Did you have a
I was
headache? Yeah, I bet
shaking.
you were.
Like it was. I've never felt anything like it. But I
You were
was
about
gonna
to say, yeah,
when I go home, my mum always makes a cup of tea.
a guilty pleasure you'll never give up.
Guilty pleasure. I'm not guilty about anything.
You just enjoy life.
Yeah. What would I be guilty for? Who's judging me?
Exactly.
And if you're judging me, bore off.
Yeah. Great answer. Favorite place you visited and why?
Italy.
Italy. Where?
Went to Italy with the school choir. We've performed in St. Mark's Basilica in Venice. Sounds
Oh.
very fancy when I say it.
Are you going to say Venice is your favorite place?
No. Sorry, that was really no.
Because it was Oscar at my first trip
Oh, was it?
to Venice.
Oh,
And
gorgeous.
we planned to go for 4 days. We hated it. After a day, we left and went to Milan.
Really?
We literally changed our plans.
Yeah, Venice. We only went for a
So
day.
boring.
Didn't really like
Sorry
it.
if you love Venice, because I know there are some people that do.
No, I liked it, and it was amazing to perform in.
Yeah, I'm sure.
You know, I love a cathedral.
Yeah.
But we stayed in Lake Garda.
Nice.
Garda in Lake Garda. It was gorgeous there. The
Was
most
it?
beautiful views.
Yeah.
And we were staying in like some hostel like for students, and it was I can't
Like
get over
overlooking.
that view.
Really?
Yeah, it
Oh,
was
that sounds stunning.
absolutely stunning.
Nice.
And then we went to like this castle, and the jazz band performed like in the grounds of this castle, and we all sat out with picnic blankets, like eating a picnic. Oh, it was just the most beautiful thing ever.
I bet.
And I was 16. Like,
Oh.
I feel like I was living a adult life, and I was
Love
16.
that. Love
Brilliant.
that. You get a couple of days off a week sometimes. What's your favourite way to spend it?
In bed.
In bed, literally.
No, I do. I like being in bed. I need that time to just reset.
Yeah.
But I also need to feel like a human, and I need to see friends outside of work
Yeah.
and connect with those people that I haven't seen in a while.
Yeah.
And spend
Amazing.
time with MJ. And
course.
do nice things. I think we're going to cinema tomorrow. It'll be
Nice.
fun.
What are you going to watch?
Whatever's on.
Have you seen Bridget Jones?
No,
Oh, you should
we'll
watch that. Yeah, there you go.
We've both been saying we want to watch.
I haven't seen it, but
No, everyone's saying it's good though, aren't they?
Yeah.
We'll see that.
If you could time travel, would you go forwards or backwards?
Probably forwards.
To when?
Oh,
And why?
the reason I choose forwards as an alternative to backwards because I just think backwards we're just getting worse for gay people.
Yeah.
I don't want to be part of that. That would be awful.
Yeah.
Right now we're in the best
So you want to see
times.
how far we can go with it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Backwards is a no-go.
Love it.
I'm sure it's all glamorized now, but like I'm sure it wasn't
Yeah.
actually that nice to be a part of.
No.
Not for me.
Exactly. Finally, what's a small amount of joy you've experienced recently?
Recently, one little pocket of joy was really nice. It was being at the Arc de Triomphe with MJ, and we got there just in time to see a bit of the Eiffel Tower as it starts to sparkle.
Oh.
We couldn't get there in time. We were too far away for it
Yeah.
to see the last sparkle. But
Oh.
we managed to catch it from there, and we just stood
Nice.
in the middle of this roundabout watching it. It was,
Did you?
It was really nice.
Oh, I love
Yeah,
that.
That was
Thank
gorge.
you. Asher, thank you so much for being on ChatterBeans.
Thank
I've had
you.
a great
It's
time.
been brilliant.
I wish people could hear the actual full extended version of this podcast, but hey,
It's too much.
this is the polished version that you'll hear. Where can people connect with you, find out what you do next, how you get on as a lecturer full time?
I'm on Instagram, TikTok.
Yeah.
Search Asher Forth, it'll come up.
Nice, and we'll tag you in the
Yeah,
description as
go
well.
for it.
Amazing.
On Twitter, I'm on all of them.
Oh yeah, you're
Get
everywhere.
yourself on.
Asher, thank you so much.
Thank you, Isaac.
Bye. Thank you so much for tuning in to ChatterBeans. I hope you enjoyed today's conversation. If you liked this episode, don't forget to subscribe and leave a review. And for more behind the scenes moments, guest updates, and a peek into the world of ChatterBeans, follow us on Instagram at chatter.beans. Until next time, grab a coffee, sit back, and let's keep chatting.